All right, here we go. Testing one more time. Okay, good evening. For those that couldn't read my lips, just wanted to say thanks so much for joining us again. Last week we had a wonderful Facebook Live event. We had over 175 people that watched it live, and we had over 3,000 views afterwards looking at the video. So again, thank you for everybody coming out. And last week we had a little technical difficulty. We had one this week as well, but we are going to be rolling from now on. Just as a reminder, we have the next 2 Mondays, we have board meetings coming up. So again, you're welcome to attend those via Facebook Live. The work session, that will have action items there, so you'll be able to kind of tune in. And then the following week, we'll have our work session, which will be talking a little bit more about what we're doing and moving forward. So with that being said, wanted to spend a little bit of time to talk a little bit about the social emotional well-being of our students and staff. That is what we're most concerned about. And Tricia Roddy, our Director of Communications, reminded me today that this is 1 month ago is when schools were closed. And when you think about what we've been able to accomplish in 1 month, it's incredible. The total transformation from face-to-face learning to remote learning or at-home learning, just absolutely amazing. And the great support of the staff and the students, administrators, entire educational community, just wonderful. So let's just take a little bit of look and kind of go back and look at some of the great pictorials that were out there on Facebook. They've been everywhere. And this just shows the wonderful students and community that came out for our parade, which we'll talk about later. And when you think about really kind of getting the message across that students are important, and when you look at the wonderful work that was done in the different schools, every single school that we have is represented in this pictorial. And we just started to recognize some of our wonderful staff for our Viking Excellence Award winners. And so you see some people holding up congratulatory signs. You see the virtual spirit weeks that we've had. And, you know, one of the books that I reread actually is Grit. And when you think about what we're dealing with now, and you think about these times, having grit is absolutely critical. It's a great lesson for not only our students, but our entire educational community. And so you see an entire staff saying congratulations to another Viking Excellence Award winners. You see, we've really been trying to make sure that with all our food distribution, we're practicing what they're recommending. Now all of our volunteers have masks on, obviously gloves and masks. So our food distribution, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you'll see all of that. We'll be following the different guidelines with masks and gloves and making sure sanitizing and doing everything that we should be doing. And again, just some more great teachers and great staff and talking about the whole social emotional well-being. There's Woodlawn with their bee theme. And I think every school has a video out there as well. So please make sure you go out there and check out the videos. You can find them on our YouTube station. And again, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do that with our YouTube. But again, the social emotional well-being of our students and our staff, entire educational community is critical. So we want to make sure that we honor all the staff and the students, and certainly appreciate all the students for coming out. This wonderful Springdale parade that we had, that was something that really truly was amazing to be part of. We had over 40 cars that were there. The Springdale police did a wonderful job making sure that everybody was very safe. And again, this was kind of to show the entire educational community the great partnership we have with Springdale, but it was also a way to kind of get back in the community after the tragic passing of Officer Grant in the Springdale Police Department. And so once again, we send our condolences to not only her family, but also the entire Springdale community, and especially the police force who lost such a valued member of the police department there. But it was a great way of getting back out there. So many people came out in force. And again, it was just incredible. So you'll see that we've been trying to take care of everything that we need to take care of. And you'll see a lot of, again, in the pictorials, a lot of the at-home learning, everything that we've been doing. And again, and then most importantly, you see the great kids there and about how they miss the teachers, and certainly the teachers miss them. There's no question about that. So tonight, we're going to talk about grading, because I know that's been a kind of hot topic item. So we'll talk about grading, food distribution. There's a survey that's going to be sent out that we do every single year, the effective school surveys. So once we get them, we should be getting all the surveys this week. So within the next week or two, you should have those in your mailbox. We just ask you guys to turn those around quickly so that we can actually tabulate all that information to be able to use that for our strategic planning, which we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. We have our parent-teacher conferences on Wednesday, the 15th, from 3 to 7, and all that information is available for middle school and high school parents on our website, so you could sign up. And high school and middle school have done a great job communicating with that. So let me slow down for a second. Let's talk about the grading aspect. So a lot of people have asked, what about the grading, and specifically in middle school, high school? But let me start with what we're doing with K-5, which is they will continue to do the standards-based grading, K-5, and that is the students who will be given multiple opportunities to work toward improving their progress by participating in remote learning. So the teachers, again, have done a wonderful job, the staff, wonderful job of communicating. So they will continue to do that. And with a standards-based grading, what we're looking at is mastery. So there's certain skills that students have to display mastery. If they don't demonstrate that, they'll have multiple opportunities, a variety of different learning modules, if you will, so that they can demonstrate mastery. So the easiest way of looking at this would be, let's say students are having difficulty with a certain sound that they're reading, maybe a first or second grader. So instead of just trying to read over and over, the teachers may be working individually on certain sounds or sight words to develop that skill. And then once that skill is mastered, then they can move on. But again, I would just focus all the effort communicating with the teachers and guidance counselors, principals at the elementary, middle school, and high school. They're doing a wonderful job. But for elementary, again, it's standards-based grading, K through 5. Now for the middle school and high school, no student is going to be harmed by their letter grade that they would have earned through the first 3 quarters. So what somebody earned third quarter, that's still going to be their grade. They could only increase the letter grade. So if you got 3 A's and you passed the fourth quarter, then you're going to get an A for that fourth quarter. Now, obviously, there's a lot of learning that needs to take place. And so we really are going to go pass fail, but students will be able to earn a letter grade, but they have to be able to pass that class. So students, if you're listening, this is not putting you on early summer vacation. You still have a lot of work to do, and I encourage you to make sure that you do the very, very best that you can, especially those students that are coming back to us next year. This learning is critical for you during this time. And while it's a different type of learning, it is absolutely critical that you make sure that you stay current with all your classes and that you push yourself to do the absolute best. And just to embarrass my son, Tommy, who's in the 10th grade, I have him going and looking at YouTube clips all the time. So when he thinks he's done, so parents, YouTube is a wonderful tool that you could use. There's all these other resources that you could use. Learning doesn't stop just because the assignment's done. You could continue to accent the learning. Now, obviously, we want to have a healthy balance, but that is critical. So high school students, once again, what you earn the third quarter, those first 3 quarters, that will be your minimum grade. However, you can increase that grade the fourth quarter by doing additional work. And you would need to talk to your teachers. You need to make sure you communicate that. And Mr. Balmer and Dr. Maxim will be sending out additional information to the teachers, and the teachers will be communicating with you. But a little push here for all the students. If you know somebody who is not yet engaged like they should engage, please make sure you let them know they really need to do that. That is absolutely critical for them. When you look at the learning aspect and what's going on, this is going to be so major for them. And again, it's important for each student, but when you look at those students that are going to be with us next year, you need to make sure that you're staying as current as you possibly can. And if you have any questions or concerns, you know how to get a hold of, again, one of the high school administrators, high school guidance counselors, the teachers. Wonderful job of communicating. So please don't use it as an excuse. Please make sure you communicate that clearly with what your concerns are. So let me give you a couple examples. So high school students are awarded credit each semester if students choose pass instead of a grade pass bears no numeric weight. This means that it would not impact other grades positively or negatively. For example, if a student earns a B for third quarter and a pass for fourth quarter, the overall second semester grade would be a B on the report card. So that's what I was explaining earlier. Again, that passing, you will not move down just because you received a pass. You actually will earn that letter grade that you earned the third quarter. So because of the semester grades, you earned a B in the third quarter. So that fourth quarter passing, you would get a B overall. And for additional information, like how would you earn a higher grade, you're going to have to work that out with your teacher. And again, if you have any questions, I would encourage you to contact your guidance counselor, contact high school administration, if you will. And again, there's a lot of caveats to this whole thing. So we will have all this information on the website. It'll not only be posted on the general website, but it'll also be posted in each school on all their individual websites. So you could get all of this information on our website. And again, if I may, I'm just going to go back and share the screen one more time with you. And want to show you what it would look like to go to the, excuse me, while I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to get to this one slide. Here we go. And so if you go to Princeton City Schools, if you just click right here, again, if you just go PrincetonCitySchools.net, click right here, you'll see that you're going to learn all there is to know about anything that you have to know regarding academic expectations, food distributions. And again, we've talked a lot about social emotional learning. So all that information is all right here, and more information regarding grading will be there as well. So we'll be able to get all that information to you because you're going to have some specific information, and perhaps on Facebook right now, people may be asking questions that are very individual. And again, we'll try to get all of that stuff to everybody as quickly as we can. We'll answer all those questions. Some of the additional questions that have been coming up too have been about OHSAA, college admissions, and NCAA eligibility. So let me just read this to you. Typically, OHSAA, which is Ohio High School Athletic Association, requires grades for quarter 4 for students to be eligible for fall sports. The OHSAA has suspended this procedure temporarily and will count passing grades as credit for that course. So again, anybody that we need to pass all of the courses. So please make sure, students, that you take this very seriously and that you're doing the work that you need to, so that you don't look back and then you're not eligible to participate in one of our wonderful activities that we host at Princeton. But once again, a letter grade of a P, or passing the course, will give you credit for that course and will allow you to be eligible as long as you maintain the minimum amount of credits that you need. And again, all that information is available online. And then state testing, again, we talked about this last time, but want to make sure really kind of hit this pretty hard because there's still a lot of questions that people have asked about state testing. So one of the big requirements the state has is a third grade reading guarantee. So let me talk specifically about that first. Students who have not passed a third grade reading guarantee assessment will not be required to be retained. So those students who did not pass the third grade reading guarantee in the fall, you will not be retained. You will go to the fourth grade. So that requirement has been waived. So for mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, guardian, know that if your son or daughter did not pass the third grade reading guarantee in the fall or one of the MAP requirements, they're still going to be okay. They're still going to go to fourth grade. Doesn't mean we stop helping. We're certainly going to help, but we want to make sure that we provide as much information as possible. So that's for the third grade reading guarantee. The requirement of earning the mandated 18 end of course points for high school students in the class of 2020, that has been suspended. So students, you know where you are. So if you were needing to pass, earn some more end of course credit points, you do not need to do that, but you have to make sure that you're passing the courses and working again with the high school guidance counselors, administration, teachers to make sure that you earn what we need, the 20 hours, 20 credits that we have that you need to pass to be able to graduate. So if you don't do that, there's still a chance that you're not going to graduate. The testing requirements waived, but our individual requirements have not been waived. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And again, just seniors in the class of 2020 will not have a testing requirement to earn a diploma. So let's take out 1 second. I'm going to jump over to the questions to see if there's any specific questions. Again, I know that we do have our director of secondary education, our director of elementary education that are online as well, that are jumping in and answering questions. There's no additional information on AP testing other than what was sent out by Mrs. Ritzy, who did that a while ago. So all students should have received that. If you've not checked your email, again, as soon as you get up in the morning, that's the number one thing we want you to do. Check your email. But again, if you have any specific questions on that AP testing, I would contact, again, the guidance counselor, Ms. Ritzy, or one of the great high school administrators, and then they'll be able to help you and walk you all the way through to provide additional information for you. As of right now, we have not changed anything with the seniors' last day. The seniors' last day is May 8th as of right now. However, there's a great letter that was sent out, a great all-call by our high school principal, Mr. Ron Balmer, who's talked a lot about that, and a letter going home to really try to make sure that we're trying to keep everything alive and well the best we possibly can for our seniors. So stay tuned for more information on that. As of today, the governor has not made a final determination on the school year. Many other states have ended the school year or gone to remote learning for the remainder of the school year and left a lot of decisions up to schools. So I do anticipate that coming, but again, please don't quote me on that because there's so many different things that possibly could turn. And if you watch the news conference today, you probably saw that it looks like we're right with the flattening of the curve. And so far, Ohio really seems to be a leader in the country with the great work that's been done in practicing social distancing and making really wise decisions and avoiding large group gatherings and so forth. So it looks like what we're doing in Ohio is working. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to move faster than any other state. But I would encourage everybody, if you can, to watch those news conferences at 2:00 every day that the governor and Dr. Acton and Lieutenant Governor John Houston have. So it looks like those are the couple questions that we have right now. So I'm going to jump back. I'm going to talk a little bit about our food distribution. Just as a reminder, we do food distributions twice a week now, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have the 6 elementary schools. And again, that information is online, but the distribution sites are Lincoln Heights, Woodlawn, Sharonville, Stewart, Heritage Hill, and Springdale. That's tomorrow as well as Thursday. But on Thursday, what we're doing through the great work of Susan Wider and the Princeton Closet, we'll be providing additional food for families that are in need. So Thursday, on top of getting breakfast and lunch and some additional food, there's also going to be bags. And I think we're doing for the first 50 at each site. And again, the great work is Susan Wider and the Princeton Closet and all the great volunteers putting all those bags together. But it's a substantial amount of food that will be able to carry you over 3, 4, 5, 6 or so meals. And so again, thanks so much for the great support there. There's also community distributions that continue to happen at St. Monica Center. And again, the great work of Pastor Mike Pearl, who's done a wonderful job there. And there's been so many other entities that have brought food to them. And again, so many that have helped there. And again, the Valley Boosters have done some great work as well. So there's a lot of opportunities. I would encourage you, if you don't know, just call our hotline, leave a message, check our website. And again, we'll do whatever we can to try to help you with those most important needs. I did mention about the effective school surveys. We're using this data to help with our strategic plan. So again, now, obviously, with the way things are right now, it's certainly maybe the results will look a little bit different now than they would have looked beforehand. But we want you to put down the most relevant information that you can on that. We're going to tabulate this information. We're going to have small groups that will come together virtually now to be able to really kind of forge forward. It's 2020. We want to make sure that we have clear vision and we connect as much as we can with the community, and the Board of Education is leading this charge and really doing a wonderful job of making sure that we have as much information as you possibly can so that we can make informed decisions and really where we need to go in the future. Now, by and large, all strategic plans have anywhere between 3 to 5 goals. The more goals you have, the more spread out you become. It's harder to get an authentic gauge of how the district is moving forward. So you can imagine right now, safety, technology, academic performance, social emotional learning. So you can imagine some of the goals that are going to be there. And we really want to get as much information as we can so that we can make informed decisions and put together a plan that's going to move us further than we ever thought we would be. And not only meeting those goals, but exceeding those goals are going to be really critical for us. And we have the staff, we have the students, we have the educational community, the administration, and the Board of Education to make that happen. So when you get those survey forms, please make sure that you fill those out. And then when we have a call to action, please consider being part of one of our virtual opportunities to give some input. We've talked a lot about the whole social emotional well-being. And again, if there's anybody that's in crisis, please know that our hotline is still available online, our school hotline, to be able to address any student that is in great need. If you are like, geez, I'm so used to calling this the other hotline for technology or food support and resources, you can leave the message on there, but I would encourage you to go to our school hotline, and we'll make sure that number is placed in the chat box shortly, if it already hasn't been done. Okay, I'm just scrolling down real quick, looking at this. A big thing that we've been dealing with, and Chris Lockhart and his team, and boy, all the administrators, we've been collecting data on the connectivity, who still needs wireless. And so the great work of Dr. Kevin Jameson as well. There's 14 different entities, housing complex or trailer homes that we're looking at and working with them to provide Wi-Fi with them. One way that we're going to do this is by taking out our mobile book center. When we take out our mobile book center, a couple things. It's critical, social distance. We'll have the Wi-Fi. 60 people, up to 60 people can connect to that Wi-Fi. And so whether or not you drive in, connect, download the information you need, and then you can go home and complete those. You could do that. You could stay in the parking lot. We'll provide exactly where we're going to be. But one example is like the Sharonville Library. If you go there, you'll be able to get on their Wi-Fi and you could stay in the parking lot, you could download the information, but it's absolutely critical. We have to have these portable Wi-Fi opportunities available for our students. So we have to practice social distancing. If not, it's going to get shut down. We have to make sure that we follow that. We're going to park the mobile book center, as I mentioned. We're going to not be able to do the traditional checking out of books, but we're going to park it for connectivity. So you could download and upload all information that you need for your coursework. If you have questions, don't approach the mobile book center or the library. You'll be able to send that information via email to the teachers or wherever you need it. But again, if you download what you need, you can go home and work on it, and then you could come back to and see one of the sites that we're going to be for the mobile book center, or at the high school or middle school. We're going to set up a whole bunch of sites. And for those kids who may be listening that are in one of the different 14 different complexes that we're working with right now, rest assured we are doing everything that we can to get wireless in the different units. And so we're looking at exactly which units have which kids in it. And we may be doing some sharing of wireless routers, wireless access points. And so that's taking us a little bit more time than what we wanted. But again, we have a lot of people working on it, and the seniors that need it and the juniors that need it, please continue to express that. And we're going to do everything we can this week to resolve that issue for juniors and seniors. Again, the library, Sharonville Library, you could go there right now. Actually, you could access that. The mobile book center, we're going to have more information on that, but we will be rolling tomorrow, and we'll be out this week as much as we possibly can, going to the different units. And again, we still have availability of Chromebooks. If you need that, make sure that you call our hotline number at 513-864-1162. And I wanted to let you know also that we are going to have a district school campus hotspot. Those will be available from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to expand the bandwidth, and we're going to do everything we can to have our indoor access, but actually get that outside. And we're going to do our best to clearly line that so you'll see how close you need to get to the school to be able to have that availability. And Chris Lockhart and his great team, they're working on that. We're going to do everything that we can to expand on that. And again, just wanted to remind everybody about the social distancing guidelines. So you could drive up, park, but we want you to stay in the vehicle. You need to bring fully charged devices. Download needed work to complete offline at home, or if you had the time, you could stay there, but going at home, it's much more comfortable. If you can't drive and you have to walk up to the campus, please make sure you maintain that 6-foot distance away from others. And then again, you may see some of your friends, you haven't seen them for a long time, or even if you've seen them at your house, if you congregate, gang, this could really be bad for everybody. If you congregate, we can't have that. We may have to shut everything down. So please make sure you follow the social distancing guidelines that we just talked about. And again, all this information is going to be available on our website, and there'll be links. I'm sure that will be in the Facebook Live chat as well. Again, just as a reminder, you all have should have received all the information on the census. This is really critical for all of our communities. So please make sure that you fill that out as accurately as you can and make sure you fill it out. Take the time to do it. It's critical for all of our villages, our cities, our municipalities. Really need you to do that, as well as a school district. I'm just looking at a few more questions that have popped up. For when we were driving on the parade route, I saw a lot of parents who I knew, and I was thinking to myself, boy, they probably really appreciated getting out of the house and doing something other than doing the work with their sons or daughters. Not that they can't do it; they would do a wonderful job doing it. But I just know that the wear and tear on parents and guardians and so forth has been great during this time. We're trying to provide as many resources as possible to be able to make that at-home learning as authentic, and also to give kind of some parents breaks, because our parents are doing multiple duties, right? So many of you are working at home, you're trying to help educate your son or daughter, and so the work is great. I would encourage you to continue to look on our website for the resources that we have available. Communicate clearly with the teacher, with the guidance counselor, psychologist, our administration. They're there to help. We will do whatever we can to help. And just please make sure that communication is as clear as possible so that we can get you the information that you need. So what's a parent to do? A parent needs to continue to love, needs to nourish, needs to try to do the best that they can with balance and get out and get in walks. And one of the things that I've done on my Facebook, and I didn't do it this weekend, but I did it the other weekends, is post different pictures of being out there and really taking the time. And my wife does a great job of, when she passes flowers, she smells them all. And I think that's a great kind of metaphor for all of us to kind of slow down a little bit, not only on our walks, but slow down a little bit in our homes and spend a little bit more time. And there's great apps now that have been developed specifically to bring people together to play virtual games, healthy games. There's all kinds of other activities. Our art teachers are going to love this, but please take the time to go learn, explore some of the virtual art galleries. It's amazing. Spend time drawing, spend time sketching, teaching yourself. There's great how-to videos, that whole piece of it. Really, you need to encourage that and nurture that. There's a lot of household materials that you could use for art. You could also do that for music. Just as a reminder, I know that we have those fifth graders that are getting ready to go up to the middle school. This would be a great time right now. You'd be able to go and be able to play a lot of the instruments to see what you really wanted to learn. Well, obviously you can't do that now and virtually, but you could go out and maybe you could see what piques interest. Look at one of the videos to see like how to play a trumpet, or what's a tuba or a violin, or what's the difference between a cello and a bass, and learn a little bit more. Take that time right now. So moms, dads, guardians, grandma, grandpas, now is a time to really kind of nurture that thirst of the kind of creativity that your, again, son or daughter, grandson or granddaughter, what they have. So nurture that and spend the additional time to really maybe searching online, and don't allow them, sorry students, just to go in their room and think that they have all the learning all done. Spend the time next to them, Googling, learning, and growing. And in fact, right before the Facebook Live event, there was this great documentary on the Roosevelts, and watching that, it was amazing. And I thought, boy, this would be a great lesson to really kind of expand on. So there's great programming on public access television that you could look at and assign your son or daughter or grandson or granddaughter to be able to do that. So There was just a question just popped up. What if a parent doesn't feel comfortable sending their child back this soon? If Princeton does open in May, we are going to address that head on. And I'm not trying to dodge it, but if we were to come back, that is still going to be a parent's individual prerogative. We will make it work. We will have different assignments that will be available. We will do whatever we can because that is going to be your individual prerogative, but more specific information will be available if that actually happens. But again, when you think about this, May 1st, if we were to come back, wouldn't it be that May 1st? It'd be May 4th. Seniors' last day would be May 8th. They're not going to just say all of a sudden, we're not going to worry about social distancing anymore. I would be shocked if they did that. So they talked about waves of kids coming back to school. I don't even know how that looks. I have a conference call tomorrow, or 3 conference calls tomorrow actually, but the very first one will be addressing the wave comment that the governor made one time about maybe we'll have students go back in waves, because how that looks is going to be very different for each school district. So there's a lot really to be determined yet. So I wouldn't worry about that. I'd worry first and foremost about the social, emotional well-being of your son or daughter. I'd worry to make sure that they are staying as current as they possibly can. I'd be making sure that they read books every single day and not on a phone, actually turning the page if you can. And one of the things, and again, just to continue to pick on my son, Tommy, I've given him vocabulary words. And that is there's vocabulary builder. If you just Google that, and all the students watching right now are like, I hope my mom and dad aren't watching. But go to vocabularybuilder.com, or you could go and you could look at vocabulary words that students should know after each subsequent year they are in school. So if you feel your son or daughter is very, very gifted, then go 2, 3, 4 grade levels above that in vocabulary. Give them 10 to 15 words a day just to have them expand on their vocabulary. That is so critical for testing down the line. It's amazing. So reading and increasing their vocabulary will help them significantly, making sure that they stay, again, emotionally well-being, that they're actually doing some physical fitness, that they're still exploring a little bit of the arts. It's so critical. And then they're staying current with their coursework. That, I think, is going to be as good as we could do right now. And again, the teachers have done a wonderful job, the staff. And I think as of last week, 97% of our students that have been identified with special needs have been contacted. 100% we've tried. So those that have not been contacted, please check your voicemail or email, because we're trying really hard. So again, that was great work that's been done by Teresa Warren, who's our director of special education. So a shout out to all the teachers, to all the staff members, administrators, building level administrators, central office, for the great work that has been done. I certainly appreciate your attendance tonight. And we're going to jump online here. Tricia, do you have any additional questions? Everything has been answered thus far. Chris Lockhart, anything for technology? No. So more information will be coming. But again, if you need anything, please make sure you call 513-864-1162 or go to our website at www.princetonschools.net. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at VikingDiff, as well as following at PCSD Vikings. And if you don't do that, Instagram at VikingDiff1, or again at PCSD Vikings. But please make sure you check out all the great Twitter and Instagram accounts we have at our building level as well. They're doing a wonderful job of getting the information out there. Have a great night, stay safe, and as always, go Vikes. Done, Chris?